lab up here on the second floor of St. John's. This is our very much work in progress digital ministry between two services, which makes sense because it's between two services. I'm Father Dana Lockhart. This
Deacon Emily, nice to be here.
And we're your co-hosts this morning for our very impromptu, technically challenged test run. Yes. So this is kind of an opportunity to talk about real things, life, the life and faith, to engage with our online community, to talk a little bit about the life of the parish, faith, spirituality, all of those things in a lighthearted way, because we really do want all of our virtual ministry to be community building. And so this is an authentic stream of our authentic selves. And we will be joined, hopefully, over the course of the next couple of weeks by a variety of people from our parish to help get connected, so that people who are engaging with us online get to know us as more than just the participants in the live stream service, which we are grateful that people tune into and watch. And but also we understand that, it's very regular and very formal. And so this is an opportunity for people to ask questions. So there's a live chat here, and we encourage you that if you're interested in all in St. John's and its ministries, to subscribe to our YouTube channel and to join us on Sunday mornings as we kind of talk about the life of faith. So obviously, right off the bat, we've got kind of like the burning topic in my mind, and that is, at what point do we start lifting pandemic restrictions again? It's very interesting. Like, at what point? We're no longer in the red.
No.
So we had this problem in June. Like, we met and we were like, oh, we're in the green. So like, let's not have any kind of masking requirements, and let's set this course for gradually reopening the church. And then what happened? Delta.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, vast majority of our membership's vaccinated. Children are able to get vaccinated starting this week. Do we announce no masks for Advent? Do we wait? It's very perplexing. I think, like, at the beginning of this, it was very top down. The governor literally had a press conference. It was like, churches closed, and the bishop would send us all this guidance. And I think a lot of us experienced the pandemic like that. Like, there was an authority on high who was setting all of these rules, and we just had to follow. And that's understandable. And at the time, I think it was appropriate. But now we're we as a parish have more freedom to set our own kind of health standards, but that also means, like, we don't have anyone to blame.
No.
And we have to make our own decisions. So, and if you're tuning in, feel free, send a question in to the live chat. We want this to be a two-way thing. Say hi, anyone joining us now. And also what you think, like, at what point, should we say when we go back to green, masks are optional? Because it's weird, because, like, part of me wants to, like, I get up into the service, and for people who are like, oh, this doesn't feel right, I'm just like, why can't we go to the rail? I'm with you. I put on those gloves to administer communion and grab those tongs, and every time I think, this is so silly, I just can't wait to be done with this. But at the same time, I know that it provides comfort and a measure of safety to other people. So, like,
you may never get rid of the tongs.
No, we will get rid of the tongs. And on the Sunday we get rid of them, I'm going to tell a number of jokes about the tongs, right?
Mm-hmm.
How it's vastly improved my ability to use chopsticks, for instance, right? But, like, so Emma, I'm just curious what you think. Like, at what point should the masks go away?
Well, obviously, I'm still wearing my mask. When I hear that parishioners are still getting COVID, even
Yeah.
though they've been vaccinated, that just doesn't appeal to me. I'm glad that we can get the booster shot. I have not yet gotten it, but I will. I'm glad that kids are getting it. I know one of our members was able to get the shot, the first shot, which I thought was fantastic. And he was at least smiling in the picture. So
I gotta get being scheduled.
Yeah, I think my concern with when we get rid of the masks, I think we will immediately want to go back to embracing, going back to hugging, and then we're not staying apart at all. So I think the masks are a good visual reminder that we need to. There is a pandemic going on. We're not totally clear yet. I've gotten used to wearing them. I mean, I know everyone has. I don't like them, but I think it's definitely an extra layer of protection, which I appreciate. And I don't think it keeps us from sharing what we need to share, from being in community. I'm glad that we're allowed to be in community with it.
My coffee's getting delivered.
Oh.
I have to. They didn't know that we were starting the live stream today, so I have to be like, okay, so. But I asked Bia to come up because she's all excited about you put her in front of a camera, she's on it. Yeah, so I get that. Like the minute that the masks go away, the visual reminder that we're still in the pandemic goes away. And
because I mean, even in church, people are still spaced out a bit, but not always.
Yeah.
So it's like, are we still spacing? It's all up to us.
And there's really no textbook about this, right? Like there is really no
there's no manual to go by.
Yeah, this is how you come out of a pandemic. You know, we didn't really have a manual for going into a pandemic, but that was easier because it was just given to us. Like, hey, you will do this. It is much nicer
when people just tell you, not that that's necessarily right.
Right. I mean, that was frustrating and scary on a whole different level. But with this, it's sort of like, because we do know of other churches that lifted their requirements and then did have outbreaks. And I mean, for better or for worse, I mean, when we look back on this, you know, hindsight's always 2020, which feels weird to say now with 2020 behind us. But like, there are going to be things that we were like, okay, so we were too cautious about this, and we weren't cautious enough about this. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think God has blessed us in that the bulk of our parishioners who have gotten COVID got it after they were vaccinated.
Correct.
And that we didn't become a hot spot yet. I mean, we have not yet. The safety measures that we've taken were effective. Hey, Bea Bug.
Hello.
Hey, Sora. We are fresh gluten-free muffins. Also a benefit if you decide to be a guest host on our live stream between two services. You might get fresh baked goods. You want to grab a chair and join us?
Oh, sure. Sora has to go back down and tell what I'm doing.
Yes.
Where is the chair,
See you guys later.
Bye, Sora.
I'll get one, Bea. You want to sit in mine? Here,
Also, right here.
Oh, you're going to be in center stage?
Yeah. That place fits me.
That works.
So then that leaves us with a little bit of chaos.
It does, yeah.
What does?
Well, we just weren't planning for this yet. This is a very, 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 very dry run of this show. We're talking about what we're going to be talking about. Like all kinds of topics. One of the topics I always want to talk about, why is church coffee universally bad? That'd be a fascinating conversation.
I wait till I get home.
Well, I can tell you 10 reasons.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
All right, tell me 10 reasons. Number
1, it tastes bad because you're nervous right before you're going to do the sermon.
Shh, don't tell me that. That's a secret.
Not a secret now.
Someone told me that the other day. They were like, I get nervous speaking in public. I mean, you don't because you do it all the time. Get up there and I'm like, is this going to be good? Is this going to be terrible?
Yeah, I get nervous too.
And today is today's interesting because I feel like just with everything that's going on and with the pandemic and not adding extra services, we're doing like Sunday service, All Saints, and All Souls all combined.
Reason number 2, though.
Which
church coffee is usually from Starbucks.
No, church coffee is usually not from Starbucks. Church coffee is usually from like a 3-year-old can of Folgers. Although we do have better coffee than that at St. John's. It comes in sealed packages from a vendor, from people who are very nice. But we can't really say that it's fresh roasted because especially now we're not making a lot of coffee.
Yeah. But if it's 30 years old, then that's probably reason number 2.
Yeah, I think just not speaking about St. John's specifically, but the church in general, is just the fact that like there's no priority put on freshness in church coffee. It's sort of like
it's 3 years.
You open
4
it up
years.
because they put it in the freezer and they're like, if you keep it in the freezer, it stays fresh. And I'm like, okay, so that might work for a little while, but eventually we should probably just buy new coffee.
Yeah, 4 years, throw it out.
You think at 4 years?
No, 2 years.
You know what's magical about our refrigerators at St. John's?
What?
All the time, like 3 times a year, Kathy and I will go through those refrigerators and we'll throw stuff out that's expired. And yet every time we do it, we still manage to find stuff that's like from 2015. And you're like, how have we managed to miss this so many times? Are people like do you like say, oh well, this is past due, let's bring it to the church? Like, do people do that?
I
don't know how does this
that.
happen? Because that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But that's a good conversation for another day. We can talk about the liturgy. I think that the 8 o'clock service went really well this morning. We hit the themes.
Well, what's another good thing?
And I was touched by when we read all the names. Tom Canary read the names and he did a really great job. And it's a lot of names.
It was, yeah.
And if anyone asks, why didn't you read last names? Because it's a lot of names. Like, we'd still be in the 8 o'clock service right now.
Really? That many names?
A lot of names.
Oh my gosh.
Well, and the Eucharistic prayer is longer.
As the Eucharistic prayer is longer. But I've been thinking about like the importance of commemoration and what would it be like as we kind of think about coming out of things. Like, I think like in March, the second week of March, which will be Lent for us because the first week of March is Ash Wednesday, will be the 2-year anniversary of when Governor Beshear asked churches to close. Will also be right around that time, the 2-year anniversary of the first documented case of COVID in the Commonwealth. And so I thought, like, we've got 1.75 acres of land. What would it be like if we were to set up something like a prayer labyrinth with flags or some kind of other marker for everyone who's died from COVID, not nationwide because we could never pull that off, but we could do it for everyone who's died in Kentucky.
Or everybody who's even dying for sales.
Well, definitely for sales. It'd be hard to do a prayer labyrinth with that, thanks be to God,
Yeah,
because we've been very lucky.
How about in Woodford County?
Well, even there, I think it's like, thanks be to God and Cassie prayed there, right? Like we've been very, very lucky in our community. But I think we could definitely do some kind of labyrinth or prayer walk or memorial for everyone who's died over the course of 2 years. And invite the public to it. That's a project that has been on the back of my mind because really as a church, like we have this opportunity, this role to do what we do today. You know, we're marking the lives of people and honoring their memory.
The markers could be like crosses, and on the side that goes this way, we could have their first name, middle name, and last name.
Yeah,
And then down would be the date that they died.
that's really, that'd be getting into the nitty gritty.
Just like at cemeteries, although I think it'd be a little creepy to do tombstones.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, that would be.
But crosses would be better because it's for church.
That's true. Crosses would be good. I would kind of shy away from crosses, Bia, just because not everyone who died is Christian. So.
Well, then what's another symbol?
Well, there are all kinds of symbols that you can put. Really, I think it helps to be something that's like visually.
Yeah, the visual helps.
The visual helps. I think when they do child abuse prevention, the pinwheels.
Those are very.
I mean, you see the pinwheels. The first time I saw the pinwheels set up by the Hughes house a couple of years ago, I mean, it just took my breath away. And so I don't know. I mean, crosses or flags or something, but. You know, I'm just thinking, like, how can we use the space that we have, that we're blessed with, to be a blessing to the community? And I think, like, just like today, we're reading names that have been submitted to us by parishioners, and so like they're coming to church in part to hear of course, to hear the gospel and receive the sacrament, but in part also to remember before God someone who they loved and love still. And to testify that we are still together in the communion of saints, that like when we go to receive the Eucharist, we are united with the church on earth and the church in heaven. And like the church has this particular role in commemorating the departed. And I would like to see us, particularly as an Episcopal church.
Well, speaking of that, about how they still love them even though that they have died.
Yeah.
We could do a heart to symbolize that they were loved and that they are still loved.
Boom. Hearts would be good. Do you think you could make 6,000 hearts for us?
Yes.
Do you think? You got between now and March.
Yeah, I could do it.
What are you going to charge us per heart?
$5 per heart.
So I need to come up with $30,000. You are smart.
Hey, $5 per heart isn't that bad.
I think this is why.
No charge.
I think this is why we lose out to China. We'll figure it out. It's still.
I guess that I could do no charge if after we do that, you take me to that magic store and then ice skating again.
$30,000 magic store and ice skating.
But you have to buy me everything I want at that magic store, which might actually.
This deal is going the opposite direction. Like it started off really good, but now not so much. Well, I want to wrap up kind of our time just with an invitation. We are experimenting. We are innovating. We are trying to think of what works. This might work. It might not work. But it could work. And I am really curious to hear from parishioners to talk about faith, to talk about like real day-to-day lives, to think of ministry ideas, to dream, you know, because that's been something that's been hard for us for a long time, as we were so hunkered down. And it's just sort of like get through each week that we haven't really thought about, okay, like when we unleash, you know, sort of like Jesus, you know, calling out to Lazarus, like unbind him and let him go. Like we're about to be unbound and let go. What are we going to go out into the world to do is what I'm really curious to have this conversation about with people at St. John's. Do you have anything to add?
No, just if people have ideas to send ideas of topics, I think would be real helpful.
Do you think the service went well at 8?
I liked it, yeah, very much so.
I don't
A little
know.
loud on the bell ringing, but.
No, it's good. It's good.
If anybody has any ideas on topics, my dad would surely appreciate it.
Yeah. well, and just kind of,
Or you could just request topics that you really like.
yeah. Well, we had some people duck in today and check us out. No one sent us any comments. Hopefully that will change as this ministry progresses. If you've watched this and you've enjoyed it, please subscribe to the YouTube channel and join us on another Sunday. Not next Sunday, because we'll be at the annual meeting. We want everyone who can make it to make it, so we get that quorum and do the business of the church and move on from there.
I know.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.